Academy Award-winning director and actor Roman Polanski seems to have it all. A glittering career, beautiful wife, and a swag of the world's top awards for movie making. But behind the scenes lies a story of heartbreak and tragedy. The Polish-born director spent his early childhood on the run from the Nazis, only to discover after the war that his mother had perished in Auschwitz. In 1969, his wife Sharon Tate, who was 7 months pregnant with their first child, was brutally murdered by Charles Manson's followers in a house in the Hollywood Hills. The event shattered Polanski, who blamed himself for being in London at the time. He attended her funeral supported by family and friends. Polanski admitted to feeling rudderless in the years that followed, unable to form lasting relationships. In 1977, he was involved in an incident that was to overshadow his career and force him to flee the United States as a fugitive. Polanski became sexually involved with a 13-year-old actress of whom he was taking a series of photos to boost her career. He says it was consensual. She says it was rape. But in any case, Samantha Geimer was under the age of consent. The case went to court and Polanski accepted a plea bargain that saw him agree to plead guilty to a lesser charge of engaging in unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor. However, he discovered the judge intended to disregard the plea bargain in his sentencing, which could have seen him jailed for up to 50 years. Polanski fled to France, where he was a citizen. As France has a policy of not extraditing its citizens to other countries, Polanski was not forced to return to the United States and resumed his filmmaking career. But he still constantly fields questions from the media about his legal problems.
I came here to talk about the motion picture that I presented. I've been traveling around the world for 20 years. I don't have any problems. Thank you.
However, the director does have to avoid countries that have an extradition agreement with the United States to avoid being set back for trial. In 2004, Polanski sued the magazine Vanity Fair through the British courts after it published an article that claimed the director has solicited a young woman for sex on his way to Sharon Tate's funeral. Giving evidence via video link from France, Polanski denied the allegations, saying they were the worst thing ever written about him and that they dishonored Tate's memory. Longtime friend Mia Farrow was amongst those who gave evidence in favor of Polanski. She told the High Court of his utter sense of loss at his wife's brutal murder. The 60-year-old star recalled a meeting with the film director at Elaine's restaurant in New York at the end of August 1969, the month 26-year-old Sharon Tate and her unborn child were slaughtered by Charles Manson's family. It was scalded on her mind, she told Mr. Justice Eady and a London jury. Sharon Tate's younger sister Deborah, who was 16 at the time of the murder, told the court she spoke to Polanski on the telephone in London after the tragedy. He was an absolute wreck, sobbing, weak in voice. I'm sure weak in physical body on the other side of the phone, she said. When she saw him when he came to Los Angeles, he was, she said, heavily sedated to the point where he couldn't walk without assistance. The magazine accepted that the incident did not happen on the way to the funeral, but argued it occurred about 2 weeks later. It claimed even if its defense failed, Polanski should not receive any damages, as his reputation had already been affected by his 1977 conviction. However, Polanski was found to have been defamed, and Vanity Fair was ordered to pay damages of £50,000.